Hey folks, this is Matt once again coming at you with Derailed from 2002, another Jean-Claude Van Damme movie review. And if you've been following, you know I like a lot of Van Damme movies. This isn't one of them. Derailed is without a doubt one of Van Damme's worst movies. Maybe his worst film. I mean, it's hard to pick the number one worst, but this, the hardcore assassination games, the quest, these are some pretty damn bad Van Damme movies. But Yours is Soldier Regeneration Day of Reckoning. I hate the stories in those, and I'll get to those. This is just, there's not a damn good thing about this film. This is pretty much a cheap, low-jack remake of Under Siege 2 Dark Territory. It's Van Damme doing a very cheap Die Hard on a Train, which I've seen cheap direct-to-video action movies from companies like PM Entertainment that made some fun films, and I'm going, okay, it's straight to video, Die Hard on a Train, maybe did some fun stuff with Van Damme. When I first saw this when it came out, no, you don't even get that. This is just horrible. This is terrible. It's long. No, it's not long. It feels long. Very cheap special effects. Piss poor editing. Boring story. Horrible cast. Tedious. Lackadaisical fights. I mean, he starts off with this thief acting sexy, and she knocks a guy out and sneaks into this place and steals this thing, which you find out is a virus. And of course, when she's stealing it, you have to have this music that's straight out of a fucking porn film. I mean, she don't take her clothes off after stealing it. Okay, I'd be up for that, but that's not the case here. Van Damme is this guy who's hired to babysit this thief. You have some boring family drama. His actual kid is cast as his kid. And we see his kid do a kick for his dad, Van Damme. What they fucking do. Van Damme meets the girl at a theater. And some people with guns come in and they escape because she has this theater set up for them to go up in ropes and opera music plays. Fucking opera music. And during this whole scene, the girl is kicking more ass than Van Damme. Van Damme, they get on the catwalk, and Van Damme kicks two or so guys, but the girl, she's going down on the ropes. She's using the ropes to kick this guy, using the ropes and kicking this guy, and kicking this guy. I mean, what the fuck? Did they escape? Van Damme punches two more. They get on this car chase, which I think this car chase is where all the budget went to. Because the car's going, Van Damme and the girl are in this taxi, and they go through tables. They hit the sides of cars. They make this Jeep that's following them crash. They go down these steps. Again, this must have been where all the budget was, because there's something happening. The taxi flips over and makes this truck hit this gas station, and you have this sign falling. Pretty much all this practical. The gas station explodes, and then you do some really shitty CGI add-ons where they add in CGI, oh, this thing went up, and then it slams down really fast, like, and then, oh, the vehicle just flies, like these, the Roadrunner. That's how fast the vehicle, from the CGI explosion. I'm like, wow, you were doing so good with the practical, and then you just throw in this horrible hunk of shit of CGI. They get on a train. You have these uses subplot characters. For example, people on the train, a person who plays, I don't know if it's the violin or the cello, I don't even fucking remember the girl. This guy with a cowboy hat who has something to do with oil. This other guy who, I guess his girl works for medicine. Which, you know, that one comes back at the very end, because when they're all getting cured. Oh, there's someone in a hazmat suit that happens to be the guy's girlfriend. What the fucking dude? No one gives a shit about these characters. There's nothing to them. All it is so that the guy with the cowboy hat acts crazy, and the other guy has to knock some sense in him physically. You don't give a fuck? Bad guys come in, they take over the train. And at the same time, when the train is stopped, Van Damme's family has gone up and surprised them because it's Van Damme's birthday. And they find the girl and they go, oh, you're cheating on me. Won't let Van Damme explain. And then the bad guys have everyone hostage. And then, for some reason, no one notices. Van Damme's in the back sitting. There's a guy with a gun on him. He gets up, hits the guy, tips him 1 or 2 times. No one notices it. Then you have the girl fighting this guy. You have this really funny scream that comes out of their mouths. It's just, if I would play a Crip, I would, the Crip. I wish the Crips were here so they could fucking take this movie and demolish it. Beat the fuck out of it. Get the Warriors, get the Bronx Warriors, get all sorts of shit to stomp a mud hole in this movie's ass. This is a very bottom of the barrel film. Like, this is the kind of film I would see Steven Seagal make, or even, well, I'm trying to think of another actor that's Lorenzo Lamas. Well, even Lorenzo Lamas made that one movie, Bad Blood, which had better action scenes than this. I think it was Bad Blood. I'm just trying to think of what David Heavener or someone made. It's just a really piss poor movie. And this guy who directed it has never directed action like this before or since. At least not in this way. No, I fucking wonder why. They even have this stupid direction where Van Damme's fighting the guy and the girl is fighting the guy. And they do this split screen where Van Damme is fighting a guy over here. And then the girl's fighting over here. And you don't give a shit what the girl's doing, because fuck the actress, fuck the character, fuck that. You see what Van Damme does, and he gets beat, and they get captured. The virus accidentally gets dropped, and now the train's being infected. Van Damme tries to escape, he gets shot, baddies think he's dead. And this is where I'm really getting a deja vu from Under Siege 2. Not just for the fact of, okay, you have bad guys on the train, and you have the hero's family involved. Because remember, there was a family, what was it? Steven Seagal's, was his niece? What was the girl? I haven't seen Under Siege 2. I actually want to watch that again now. But I'll wait till I do, if I ever do a Steven Seagal marathon, which won't be anytime soon. But that had the budget, had better villains, Eric Bogosian, and had a faster pace, had a better director. Is that a fantastic director? But the Jeff Murphy, I believe, who did Under Siege 2 is a much better director than this. And, man, it is... While I was talking about Under Siege 2, there was a scene where the hero gets shot at, and you think the hero goes underneath the tracks, and they assume he's dead, and of course, the person is hiding under the train tracks. Oh, another movie that did all this shit better? The ending of Broken Arrow. And that was just one segment of the movie. That one segment of Broken Arrow is better than this entire fucking movie, because it was directed by John fucking Woo. Oh, another thing with Under Siege 2. There's a scene later on where your hero in a vehicle with the train. With Steven Seagal, he was in a truck that flies off, and Seagal jumps on the train. Here is Van Damme get on a motorcycle, and a horrible, horrible, horrible effects. Driving on the motorcycle on top of the fucking train. There's another train going the opposite way. It jumps from here to here. Literally, the motorcycle jumps. Is it the fucking dirt bike kid? How the fuck does the fucking motorcycle jump like that? And a piss poor CGI green screen. And then when it's not, it's cheap fucking models of the train that you find on Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. I was ready for Mr. Rogers to come out and, won't you be my neighbor? Hello, neighbor. Joining me as we're talking about Derailed, which almost derailed Van Damme's career. Boys and girls. Or do the fucking Eddie Murphy version. I'd rather have that than this fucking film. I mean, he did some little fisticuffs with some guys. Oh, another similar thing to Under Siege 2. He has an ally on the train. And the Under Siege 2, it was Morris Chestnut, who they would later work together in Half Past Dead. Who, he was, I forget what the hell was his job on the train. I forget the exact job title. But here is the conductor. And it's someone helping your hero out. And Van Damme gets in little tiny fisticuffs. I mean, there's this woman who he flips over. Literally just flips her over and she dies from being flipped over, pretty much. Little fight with a guy where Van Damme's character does this little spin. Just a spin on top of the guy. A guy's trying to escape on the helicopter on the ladder, which I remember that from Under Siege 2 as well. And Van Damme puts the ladder into something, and really cheap model effects where the helicopter hits and Van Damme's on top of the train. You see all this fire around him, piss poor green screen, and really piss poor effects. Literally, again, I've seen children's shows. If they had an explosion on Mr. Rogers, it would look just as good as this. I don't think Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood had much of a budget. If it was Sesame Street, it probably looked the same. Maybe even better, because I think even Sesame Street is more high-tech than this fucking movie. At least they are more high-tech. They got fucking Big Bird and shit. That's more high-tech than anything in this fucking movie. So yeah, it is more high-tech. And the line of dialogue when Van Damme does that motorcycle, he jumps from one to the other, even when the bad guys is dumbfounded by how stupid it is. Because he goes, no fucking way. Exactly! That's my 2 cents as well. No fucking way. It's stupid. It looks shit. He gets back on the train and they meet up and bad guy wants the virus to make a vaccine, but also so he can escape. And his family's there and Van Damme goes, what about our deal? And does this, which of course his kid does the kick. Van Damme and the bad guy gets in a struggle. The kid escapes with the virus. And then this scene that really didn't make sense, as opposed to the rest of the movie, right? It's going and another train is coming. Are there, I guess I'm really stupid. Are there a lot of trains that go this way and then one goes this way? Like, you have a train going here. Do you have a lot of trains going this way as well? Like, phew, phew. One train going this way and one train going this way? That's probably a stupid question. I guess so. I would have to assume so. Sorry about that. If there's a cut there. You know how interested I am about this movie? I actually looked over and I saw a bug and I went and killed a bug. That's how interested I'm in this movie. That's how emotionally put together this movie is. Let alone his action scenes and his story and his dialogue and his characters. I'm so invested that I said, fuck it, I'd rather just go kill this bug that was over there. That's how interested I am with the review. Or I should say at least the movie. I don't even know where it was. I think it was somewhere where Van Damme's kid runs. All the stupid thing where one train hits the other train. And it looks like the train that Van Damme's on, the whole thing topples over. But I guess it's only the back end of it topples over. You would think that when the whole fucking train hits another train, that the front part of the train would flip over, skirt over, somehow stop, somehow something, anything. But no, apparently if you break the train in half, the front will keep going no matter what, as if it was perfectly fine and dandy. Does Van Damme looks and then opens the door and goes, oh, it's gone, and he thinks his son is dead. But no, that's not the case. Because he goes back, fights the baddie, ties him to this thing which hurts, and you get the idea that the bad guy was torn apart because you just see a little piece of the bad guy's leg on the other side, hanging there. The kid's not dead. They stop the train before it gets to a point where the choppers are going to blow it up because it has, of course, they're infected on there. They get the guys in the hazmat suits there in order to take care of them, in order to look into it and cure them and create a vaccine. And apparently a guy that Van Damme was talking to on the phone, he was a double crosser. Van Damme punches him. Van Damme goes to his family, and then the movie's over. If it seems like I have no emotion and have no vigor and violence in this rant, it's because it's just one of those movies that just, what the fuck should I say? There's a reason why it's one of Van Damme's most lowest rated films. It really is one of those films that is so bad it speaks for itself. Anything I say about it, it won't matter because the movie says it itself. I mean, think about everything that I've said. What's so interesting? That you could just watch Broken Arrow. You could watch Under Siege 2. You could watch the other Van Damme films I've talked about in light. For example, Wake of Death, Until Death, JCVD, Bloodsport, Kickboxer, Hard Target, Time Cop, Double Impact, Death Warrant, Lionheart, Universal Soldier. There's no reason to watch this other than if you're a hardcore Jean-Claude Van Damme fan like me, you're a big fan of his stuff and you were curious about it. And really there's nothing to it. Van Damme's protecting this female thief because people want this virus. Van Damme doesn't realize until later when they get on this train. Before that you have a car chase that I know was stolen and put in another movie, and I forget which movie it was. I think it was a Dolph Lundgren movie, actually. And little fisticuffs, which don't amount to much. Van Damme does a couple kicks here and there. Typical stuff, once in a while. Uses subplot on the train with, oh, this asshole on the cowboy hat's pissed off. Oh, we're going to die here. And the other guy punching him, and people arguing because they're infected. And, hey, only some people are infected unless if they got a shot, and blah, 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 blah. Bad guys are beyond one-dimensional. The dialogue is not a single worthy line. And there's some Van Damme movies with good lines. Hunting season is over. You're dead, soldier. No, I'm alive. I'm still doing kicks. I must be on Broadway. This movie has nothing to offer. It has some really laughable special effects, either cheap model work or crappy green screen. It's one of those movies you watch, you go, why did Van Damme even do this movie? It must have been one of those films that, hey, it's a job, I got paid, let's do it. I mean, there's really nothing else to say about it. If you watch the trailer, it tells you what you need to know about the movie. It's a piss-poor movie, that's it. Plain and simple. I don't need to go on to 30, 40 minutes. It sucks. Plain fucking simple. And that's just the way it is. It's one of his worst.